This podcast is made possible through listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Audacity. I'm Kennedy alongside Courtney, and we are stepping into the future of music, from AI-generated compositions to virtual concerts and the rise of independent digital artists. The industry is evolving faster than ever.
What does innovation mean for creativity? Who controls sound in the digital age? What's next for artists?
And we got my girl CJTO, and she's going to be setting the tone for what's ahead on this episode.
Bold voices shape the future of culture. Toni Esther is a fearless female MC whose sharp lyricism and commanding presence move the room. Catch her performance at the end of the show.
We have two incredible guests with us here today. We have Dr. Evans and Shakise, and let's just jump right into it. Dr. Evans, can you tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience can meet you?
Yeah, Jabari Evans, assistant professor of race and media at the University of South Carolina in the journalism school. A lot of my research thinks about how Black youth use digital tools and technologies for their professional aspirations. And so in this conversation, we're probably going to talk mostly about musicians, but I also think about content creators, comedians, all types of different individuals, journalists, and how they're using these tools to sort of talk to audiences. Beyond being a professor, I spent 20 years in the music industry as a songwriter, producer, and a performer.
So you are the man for this conversation.
I'm just old. You live long enough, you got a bunch of stories and journeys.
Well, Shakise, let's hear about you.
Shakise the Beast Duval. I'm a Columbia, South Carolina native. I grew up in a little neighborhood called Ridgewood over there by Oak Cliff High School, but I spent a lot of time in New York and Atlanta as a kid. A lot of people know Shakise the Beast from my DJing days, from whether that's BET, MTV, as well as radio. Satellite radio, I did all of that. A lot of people know me from my Love, Peace, and Hip Hop days, the Hip Hop Festival, Hip Hop Family Day. And then a lot of people know me from the TV and film industry. I've been a TV and film producer for about as long as I had a DJ career, now about 20 years, and everything from network TV to now having my own company, OTR Media Group. And so I'm a Columbia native son. Richland District 1, Columbia High School, class of 96. So, and I love what y'all are doing here in ETV. So thank y'all for having me.
Thank you for being here, man.
No doubt.
So, I love music myself, man. I've been listening to music, I feel like, since the crib. Where do you think music is heading, like, in the next 10 years or so?
Well, music's headed where media is going more generally. Media is becoming a much more fragmented landscape. It's also becoming more datafied, right? So big data informs everything now. People don't make decisions without knowing the numbers and the analytics. And I'm from the era of like the A&R and actual human gatekeepers and talent development and all of that stuff, and actual producers, not just beat makers, right? But we're now in an era where we have algorithmic gatekeepers and we have numbers that are telling us where to go and what to decide to follow or what to decide to develop, what to decide to invest in. And a lot of it is based on metrics, it's based on clout, it's based on, how we see people and judge them on the numbers, whether it's followers, whether it's downloads, whether it's, how much money you're making per month or as a streamer. A lot of things are really identifiable with numbers. And I think that's sort of a gift and a curse to a certain degree, because I think we're losing a certain level of grassroots organic vibe to music and a vibe to even the business and the way in which things used to work. Me and Shakise actually know each other. He used to promote shows, right?
Yeah.
And the way in which you would hear about shows were through people like him, Two-Step Flow. Now it's literally, okay, let's buy some Facebook ads, let's buy some IG ads, let's just make sure that the minute I step off a plane, I'm from Chicago, but if I step off a plane anywhere and I have my location on, Instagram's going to tell me immediately something that someone is doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So would you say like the algorithm is controlling the show?
I mean, we're in the Truman Show right now.
The Truman Show.
I think
I was going to say the Matrix. But
I mean, we're being controlled, and I think for digital natives, they're not as resourceful, and so they're in a space where the shortcut is the only way. It's a microcosm of where we at right now, where we have folks with smarter phones and dumber instincts, right? And I think that transfers into creative and cultural industries as well, where now you can pick up AI and make a beat. You could pick up AI and even write a verse. You could pick up AI and get a voice that you don't have, right?
Yeah.
So speaking of the AI, how easy they're making things, and going back to what you said about the data, the algorithm, and things, we saw this happening. If you came up in there, with radio, like, and so do you think it's making, like you said, you have people that are pretty much lazy with it. So when you were a programmer back then, you had to rely on just your instincts, your ear, knowing what's going to be hot, not necessarily the results of a diary coming back or the ppm readings coming back to tell you that this small group of people like this song, so we're going to push it. Now that's really all they rely on. So do you think AI is taking away the skill set from those employees and literally making people lazy to the point where it's going to eventually eliminate the job, right?
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, right? I think there's always going to be some disruption that we can't foresee. And I think the technology does things in ways that are predictable, but life isn't predictable. Culture isn't predictable. Hip hop is in particular is known for improvisation, making something out of nothing. Kind of, there's always going to be a song and an artist or a movement that figures its way out in a way that we didn't expect.
Shakis, I want to hear a little bit of your perspective on this, because I know you have some similar industry experience. So where do you see music going?
I think what T.O. just said and a bit of what Jabari just said about the word organic, but T.O. was referring to, the what I would call the artistry part of it, which is, I think, the other part of technology that we always have to remember is technology can also democratize things or access to resources that people didn't have before, which is a beautiful thing. Like, I love going on Instagram and seeing a grandma DJ at 65 years old in Sierra Leone learning how to make beats. I think it's incredible. At the same time, there's a level of responsibility that is going to have to come from, I believe, some sort of government regulation space when it comes to how these platforms and uses and its relationship with human beings as users is regulated in that space. The freedom, anything dealing with humanity when it comes to freedom, got to come with some regulation, because we human beings. We're going to do what we want to do.
We're going to run out.
We're going to run out. We're going to run it out. We're going to crash it out. So at some point, someone has to come in and say, okay, well, what are the barriers? And sure, we want everybody I want both of y'all to learn how to DJ tomorrow. And if AI helps you do that, I think that's awesome. At the same time, what's the designation between someone who's an AI DJ and what DJ T.O. does? Some entity, some body has and when I say body, I mean body of people has to come in and kind of create new definitions for this new world that we're in.
Who do you think would be, like, I guess, an ideal to kind of set those boundaries or do that regulation, enforce it?
I feel like we'll kind of come up with a system very similar to, when newspapers first came out, there was a governing body that was like, okay, this is what constitutes a newspaper, this is what constitutes the National Enquirer. Same way when people came out with, okay, this is what is considered, a real Nike, this is a fake Nike, you know what I mean? So there's always some body or group that's, whether it's even the people that's putting A on a restaurant, it's like, okay, this meets a certain health code. Don't eat over there. It's got a C, and now you can make the decision, right? The human can make a decision. And I think we're just in this space where it's kind of like the Wild Wild West.
So would you like politicians to come up with those rules, or special interest groups?
I don't know if politician is the right word. I think the right word is governing body. Right? I think when we hear the word governing, we think politician, but it ain't politicians putting speed limits on the road. You know? That's a governing body of people that have been determined that they're experts in speed and crashes, and so these people we've appointed to study this and say, okay, this lane is 35 miles an hour. I think that's kind of in the space we're in, right? When you think about, you know, somebody can have a phone and a YouTube channel and a website and a fashion company in today's world in an hour and a half, you know?
Yeah.
And the music industry has already started, like,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
it's more of a
Yes.
morality thing, not
Yeah.
illegal thing, like
Yeah.
to where they're just like, hey, no, we're not allowing this X, Y, and Z. And so where you had the AI artists, and then you have the tools to make the bots listen to the AI artists. So there was one
Yeah.
artist
So
who
it's
got millions and millions of streams
Mm-hmm.
And it's
with
all,
not one fan,
not
and he
real.
ran up money, and so then he kind of got in trouble. But like Shaki said, there's no governing body. Like, what? So what happens to him?
well, we're
Actually,
playing in my like sandbox now, y'all. So we got the comedian, we got the educator here. I'm a advocate, lobbyist by trade. Something that Dr. Evans said is that the technology is moving so quickly. And I can just tell you, it takes our legislators, our politicians, a very long time to decide on even something they all agree is good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So
exactly why I
it's taken
don't
a
think
long
politicians
time.
are the right.
Yeah.
You know, because I think if we wait on politicians, we'll end up waiting too long. I think as human beings, we got to figure out what these barriers control. It's got to be some type of partnership between private citizens, private corporations together, because there's something very important that Jabari said in that first segment, that when he was speaking about what the algorithm has turned us into. Tech companies have turned us all into users. We're not even people anymore, right?
Yeah.
We're all users.
We're all
You
consumers.
know, we're all
Yeah.
not even consumers. Like, you don't even have Facebook. Just has to be on your phone for you to be considered a user. You're not even using it, but it's there. You bought the phone. You count it as a user
Your
now,
data
right?
is being
Your
captured.
data is
Yes.
being captured,
Yes.
right? And so then I think if that is the case, if we're all being put into this space together, whether that's to create art or to go on Instagram and look at people's pictures or whatever it is, then somewhere that all of the players got to come in and say, okay, how do we make this a safe space? How do we make sure that artists get what they're paid? How do we make sure people still have the freedom to become an AI artist tomorrow on their laptop while they on the bus? You know what I mean? Like, I think there has to be some partnership that comes together and kind of gives us new rules for this new world that we're living in.
Yeah.
Is it frustrating because I know, Shakis, you have a huge background in DJing. When I started, of course, you were one of the ones I looked up to.
Super fast.
So I feel like artists are feeling what we feel, we've felt for years. But is it frustrating to know that you could spend 15, 20 years perfecting a craft that somebody can start out on Monday and not necessarily have the same skill set as you, but they get the same level of recognition, respect, and everything by Friday?
No, it doesn't frustrate me at all. I think it's beautiful. Like, I think it's so absolutely wonderful that someone can have a dream of being a DJ and then by Friday have followers. I think that's awesome. Because I also think that somebody that has skills, the tech is going to elevate their skills. So that person that is able to become an AI, say a really popular DJ in a week, is still never going to be able to compete with DJ TO, because what TO is going to do with the technology is going to be vastly different. My only frustration comes from, if you are an artist or whatever type of technician that's using AI, those tools should make you better.
Yeah.
I get frustrated when I hear like somebody's like, oh, check out this DJ, and they sound like a DJ from 20 years ago. And I'll be like, we was doing that 20 years ago without computers. So like, y'all not know better than that? Like, by now, like, I should be blown away. And that's really where my only frustration is if you're gonna use the art to elevate, like, take it to the next level. Like, Outkast did whatever Outkast was doing 20 years ago. Don't do Outkast again. What does the next iteration of that look like that we hadn't seen yet? You feel me?
We're not outside enough. Like, the younger generation, right? They talk a lot about being outside, but in reality, it's filming to look like you're outside, or curate to look like you're in community with others. Like, you go to a concert, it's not about actually experiencing it. It's about taking the selfie. It's about showing people you're there. I think very similarly, the music, especially the urban side of music, used to be about physically being in person, physically networking with people, physically collaborating. And I think that creates a different type of artistry. It creates a different type of scene. Like, local scenes aren't what they used to be because of The same way there's the DJ that uses tech, there's the promoter that uses AI to create the flyer that's generic and use the algorithm in a way that is like, well, everybody's buying the same amount of Facebook ads. Everything looks exactly the same. I think when you go outside and you actually do some of that like boots to ground, you know, real grassroots work, and you're in community with whatever local scene you have.
Y'all, I have to admit, we do sound like a bunch of old folks on the porch, like back in my day.
Right,
But like,
yeah.
let's help them get outside. So,
yes,
I grew up in this area, but like one of the things that my parents taught me was like just curiosity. Be curious. Go find something that you don't know. So, how do they get outside? Can
That's
we help
the key.
them?
That's the key
How do
right
they do
there. It's curiosity.
Yeah.
What can it do?
Yep.
Right? As opposed to it doing.
Yep.
What can it do? Anything that you're interacting with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even if it's an algorithm. Like
Yep.
what can it do that we ain't seen yet?
Yep.
Right? Because I honestly, I'm on the other side of Jabari. I think the younger generation is returning to outside. I think they're using AI. I think they're using technology to find new ways to be able to do things with each other outside, even though there's still some tech in the mix.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go back to that route. They've been inside of the what I call the computer box for so long. They're trying to find other ways to engage beyond that. So
They're using iPod classics now.
Yeah.
Like they are going back.
finding ways to engage
Yeah.
together. And I think that plus just being curious, like let's just see.
But they
I
also
mean-
they're looking at what works, and if you look at even the OG artists, they're going back. Look at J. Cole is on a whole Honda Civic tour right now,
How
selling
phenomenal
records
is
out
that?
his trunk.
Yeah.
Master P did that in the
phenomenal.
'90s.
Yeah.
Facts.
And then you got, even Summer Walker, when her album rolled out, she hit the streets.
Yeah.
With Cardi B. Cardi B's one of the biggest artists in the world.
She's
She
on
hit
Subway.
the streets. She on
Loved it.
Subway. She on, and making it fun.
How
Granted,
fire
she
is
not
that?
It
really
is.
selling them outside, but it made it fun.
It's dope.
And so they're seeing what works.
Even like I'm seeing a return to small house parties and house
Love it.
shows. You know what I mean, with artists like the one y'all heard earlier today. Like I'm seeing a lot of that take place, and I think that community part. I mean, that's how you get that curiosity too.
That's true.
So
what can we
outside of
do
the
together?
community and the actual artistry, let's talk the money, right?
Oh.
Do we think
Okay.
did streaming hurt the artists? Did it help or hurt the artists, the producers, the songwriters?
I'm gonna go with the guy that had a record deal.
No, I mean, short answer, yes. Streaming is a way for, and it's funny because Shakis was sort of moving in that direction when we were talking about the guardrails not being there and regulation needing to be had. Platforms are not being treated like media companies. So when the record labels got in bed with the streaming platforms, they made sure that the music industry's profits went up substantially. But what they didn't do is build a model that was going to compensate artists fairly, right? So, we're seeing now more than ever, when I was a touring artist, like that was your bread and butter. You hit the road, you sell your merch, you do these different things. You might even hit 2 or 3 different shows in a night if that's what you can do to have hand-to-hand money in your pocket, right? And it's an easier thing to track. A lot of artists don't understand publishing. A lot of artists don't understand how to audit their record labels. A lot of artists don't understand their contracts. My very first contract wasn't very great, and I'm, very educated, right? You would think I would probably be one of the most knowledgeable person. I was so excited to get to the space of having fame and clout that I didn't read it as well as I wanted to because I wanted the opportunity. And I think that's still the case. Artists are getting exploited, a lot, right? But labels are making money. Streaming platforms are making money. But now you're seeing, to that point, someone like a La Russell use Even and also become pretty much a content creator, where it's like, okay, now I'm going to go back to selling physical units. I'm going to go back to giving those who are my super fans this interesting experience of having like the opportunity to see me 15 times a year if they pay up front.
But that goes right back to what y'all was just saying.
Yeah.
What La Russell tapped into was curiosity and community.
Yes.
All he did was put those two things together. That's
Yes.
really all that is. Like, being curious about what other ways can I operate outside of the record label system, number one. And then two, how can I build a community around what I'm doing,
Yes.
where I'm at,
Yes.
right? That's all it was, you know.
And being
putting those two
intelligent
things
around
together.
COVID, right? Because that
Yeah.
pandemic space was when I think a lot of people figured out how to do content. But at the time, we were socially distant. You couldn't go to a concert venue, right? Versus happens during the pandemic. There's a lot of disruption that happens. You know, look at that movement where D Nice has
Yes.
millions of people, you know,
On the
on his
street
stream,
at one
right?
time, right.
You know, these are things that can't be predicted, right? When we go back to the beginning, when we're saying like, hey, you know, how is artistry going to find an audience in a way that's organic? Even with the tech, those are all organic situations that have happened where I think you can point to it and say, hey, this is something I'm proud to see happening, right? Where this is an evolution of the type of artist that I was. I don't necessarily have the energy to be a content creator, but I know that, you know, in my research and in my books that I've put out more recently, right, the tech is germane to the business. Like the same way at the time for me, you had to hit an open mic, you had to be able to freestyle in a cipher. Now you need to know how to make content.
Well,
now you need to know how to stream.
Yeah.
You need to be on Twitch.
That's community.
You need to be.
You need to understand
You don't
it's
necessarily have to be.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell younger folks that are coming up today. Stop. I mean, yes, you can have a YouTube channel and you can be a rapper and you can put out your own. Yeah, you could do all that yourself, but look at how much time.
Yes.
Why not?
We're just having this conversation.
You only
earlier
need 2,
today.
3 people with you. You find somebody that love to do this. Media, I love to
Everybody
create
don't have to
content.
be in front of the
Everybody
camera.
don't have to be in front of the
No, you
camera.
don't.
Everybody
Somebody's uploading it. Somebody's posting it.
Yep.
That way we working as a team, getting
Right.
back to that community, and then y'all can go out later and have some pizza.
It's
Exactly.
amazing.
You the DJ.
Laugh
I know
about
the law. She
There you
got the
go.
tech.
Yeah.
He got the connections. And we all go together.
Are we starting a
But-
group or?
Oh, we start. Well,
Let's
listen,
do it. I'm down with it.
We got to wrap up here in a second,
For
but
sure.
I got to ask this before we got here, because we're always talking about, you know, the young people. If you were starting your career today, like what would you do differently?
Right.
I know the answer to that immediately.
Come on, give it to me.
So I was in a rap group too. But
Okay.
We did not get, well, not a major record deal. We did have a couple single deals.
Yes.
Okay.
But if I had to do it all over again, I would build my own platform. You know, one of the things that we had people that had different roles, right? And what we like to do is tap into the thing that you're good at. Like instead of asking you to do something you don't know about, what's the thing you're already good at? And that's exactly what I would have done. I think about this all the time. If I could do it all over again, my own website platform with
Great
all
job.
the
Yeah.
tools.
Okay. What about you, Jabbar, before we get out of here?
Everything at the time when I was trying to do music and entertainment was like, you have to move to LA, you have to move to New York. I think if I was doing it all over, you know, I would have saw more strength in my home and in my hometown. And I think a lot of the younger artists that came after me did just that. And I think, you know, using and understanding that the tech can allow you to not have to get on planes, not have to sleep on couches necessarily, cost of living where you're at. You can kind of build, to your point, a community of folks, build a platform where you're at, and you don't necessarily have to do the rat race of living in LA and New York, which I did for about 12 years, you know, and ultimately found more success when I went back to Chicago and I signed with John Monopoly, who's from Chicago, and was meeting with producers that were from Chicago. I wish, you know, investment in home and local scene is kind of something I wish I did more of.
That's a bar.
Okay. Man, listen, bro, this has been a really dope conversation,
Y'all
man.
awesome.
I appreciate, man, I feel like we got to
three of
continue
y'all.
this conversation
sure.
after the show.
The future of music isn't coming, it's already here. Thank you to our guests and CJTO for pushing the conversation and the sound forward. We've curated a Spotify playlist featuring the artists and songs from today's episode. Just search the Audacity on Spotify and experience the future soundscape for yourself. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Kennedy, and this has been The Audacity. So stay curious, stay creative, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Come on, come on, It's that feel good, real good, feel good, real good. Yeah, 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 yeah. Come on, It's that feel good, real good. Come on. I got a real good thing, I can't let it go, nah. They probably never even seen it before. I got a real good thing. Come on. I gotta let my soul glow. I got a real good thing. Can't let it go. Come on. I got a real good thing. Come on. Yeah, come on. Take me back to 10. What I love most, that she had so much within, right? Cause she was just a shorty, head naughty, legs dotty, words karate. When I think back, I used to copy tracks to copycats. Now I think it's wet to copy blacks. Can you copy that? You try to copy the seed. Can't copy that, put you on your knees. Oh, no. Come on. Get residuals, make it drizzle, get deep like Frank Mitchell. I'm on my fiscal, beneficial, sick like sickle cell. Can you tell? I trailed the Bobby Max and I spree well. Check the detail. I didn't know I bell till I expel. I didn't know I bell till I ring well. Come on. You gotta let your soul glow. Oh, come on. I got a real good thing. I can't let it go. They probably never even seen it before. I got a real good thing. I refuse to let it go, yeah. I gotta let my soul glow. I got a real good thing. Can't let it go. They probably never even seen it before. I got a real good thing. Real good thing.